This is our first day in Israel. It's a 5-day visit, and this is organized by the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And their idea is to make some senior Indian journalists familiarized with themselves with what's happening on the ground. Remember, this is a moment and time of intense geopolitical flux around the world. So, in this geography, which is the Middle East or West Asia as we call it, and this place is just out of that conflict with Iran. And for 2 years plus, the war has been going on between Israel and Hamas. Uh, in fact, last 1 week has seen intense pressure building up on Israel, with the nations like Canada, the United Kingdom, and France declaring that they are going to declare their official support or officially recognize Palestine as a state. And so that's got Israel in a bit of pressure. So our visit is happening in that backdrop. So we're going to be visiting a lot of places. Today, this was our first day. We landed and had some briefing, and then we plunged headlong, so to say, into the news cycle with visiting the hostage square. And that's where all the activity surrounding bringing back the hostages is concerned. There are about 50 odd hostages still left in the captivity of Hamas, and there is intense societal and political pressure on the Netanyahu government to bring them back, and to be able to do that, to either end the war or at least agree for a ceasefire. So it's in this backdrop that our visit is happening. Uh, Over the next 5 days, we would be visiting a lot of places, many of those kibbutz that had seen Hamas attack, and then some briefings with the Israeli Defense Forces and the Foreign Ministry. And then, of course, we will be visiting the Old Jerusalem part and the north and south of Israel, including Haifa, for example. Uh, and then most likely, we don't know as yet, but most likely a meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and the the team and the delegation is looking forward to that. So that's how the visit is going to pan out. Day one, Hostage Square, met some of those friends and families of the hostages, the victims, and some civil society organizations that are working on this whole issue to get those hostages back. And I shall, of course, keep you updated over the next 5 days, every day in the evening, as to how our day panned out. See, first day, as I explained to you, we just landed in the the forenoon, a little later than that, and then with some briefing. After some briefing and a quick lunch, we straight away went to the hostage square, and that's how the day has panned out. Essentially, focusing on the hostage crisis, the way Israel is dealing. The other more important and more intense part of the visit is coming, which a glimpse of which I have given to you. I should, since it's a reporter's diary, I should tell you why I am excited that this visit is happening. I come from a town called Vadodara in Gujarat, which has had an organization called Friends of Israel since early 1990s, and they would be sending youngsters from town to town to Israel to live and experience for themselves what it means to be living in a kibbutz. And I would now be visiting a couple of them myself during this visit. Also, I remember in my early days in college, I read a book called O Jerusalem, which was about how Israel came about. And so, I'm pretty excited about seeing some of those places on the ground. Also, with my own reading of the Bible, for example, and now I would be visiting Jerusalem. So it's a very important place for three of the all three of the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And so we to be able to visiting those places, the Western Wall, the Wailing Wall, as it is called, and the Dome of the Rock, the Al-Aqsa, everything, and the place, the Temple Mount. So I am pretty excited about this visit, and whatever happens through the day over the next 5 days, I'll keep bringing back to you every evening. So you see, we got down at the David Ben Gurion airport, and I thought that we are getting into a war. Of course, there is not an active war now. The Israel-Iran war has stopped, and with Gaza, it's more like a one-sided situation. But and the entirety of the military exercise is on the Gaza Strip side. But My first impression is, of course, that on the face of it, there is no sign of a conflict situation or war. But if you sort of get down to the streets, you realize that people are concerned. They have concerns. You go to a restaurant, you go to a street square, and you're walking through the thoroughfares, and you see those pictures of hostages put up on the walls, and their images, and with the message that they need to be brought back and that they are not yet home. So I think it's a very poignant moment in the course of events for Israel, because as a society it's still struggling with a war situation, not an active war situation, but still intense conflict. The hostages are to be brought back. And while the war with Iran has ended, ceasefire has been achieved, but it always remains, if not with Iran, then with Syria, if not with Syria, then with Lebanon, if not with Lebanon, then with Hamas, if not with Hamas, then with the Houthis. It's a very intense conflict zone where we are reporting from. And so I think over the next few days, you will see a lot more of the nuance of how Israel is and the society here is and the people here are dealing with the situation.